Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome to Cashin with Carville here for Week 14 of the NFL season. Heavy on the NFL today. I'm Zach Ewing with James Carville. He checks his phones for his phone for the lines one last time here. Heavy on the NFL this week as college kind of takes the week off, except for the big game outside of New York. This Saturday is the Army-Navy game. James, I'm sure you've watched that game throughout your life. It's one of the best.
It is literally one of the best, and I love the Army-Navy game. It's just, when there used to be a huge impact on national rankings. That's not so much the case anymore, but it's still Army-Navy, which is, pretty doggone a lot of tradition there. And I'm going to take, what's the line we got? 7.5?
Army minus 7.5 on that one.
I'm going to take the middies, and I was in the Marine Corps. I was born at Fort Benning, so I have dual loyalties here, but Navy wasn't as bad as we thought they were going to be this year. And 7.5 is a lot of points in a rivalry game.
That is right. My dad was a Marine who served in Vietnam, and so he was always conflicted watching the game too. It's like the Marine Corps didn't have a team, so you got to pick a side.
Well, we're part of the Navy, actually.
Oh, okay. Technically, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we're part of the Department of the Navy, but a lot of Marine Corps officers get commissioned out of Annapolis. You graduate, you got a choice. You can go in the Navy or the Marine Corps.
Okay. So we see. This is my civics lesson for the day. This is my thing that I didn't know.
In the Treasury Department.
All right. Before we move on to our NFL slate for the day, new LSU coach Brian Kelly, a lot of changes this week on staff. Corey Raymond is out, but he's brought in some people. Tommy Moffitt is out. I suppose with a new coach, especially one as renowned as Brian Kelly, there's going to be change. It's a little uncomfortable for most LSU fans, though, I think.
Why? You bring in a new guy, he's going to bring in his own people. I mean, it's as predictable as night following day. One of the things that just really you hear these Notre Dame people whining and squealing, and when Brian Kelly, when they took him away from Cincinnati, did they feel sorry for Cincinnati? Did they say, well, they came to Notre Dame because it's more money, or he thinks he can win more games here? And it's really hilarious. And then, of course, Lincoln Riley going to Southern Cal. Well, that's cool. I mean, if you leave Oklahoma for Southern Cal, the cool kids like that. If you leave Notre Dame for LSU, the cool kids don't like that. I think this has been something to see. And you can just see how mad they are. And of course, what do you think? All LSU cares about is winning. Well, what else does anybody else care about? Like, we're the only fan base in the country that wants to win. It's so goddamn stupid.
Notre Dame is not used to being the one left without a musical chair, I think, and that's Marcus Freeman may end up being a good coach.
Yeah, I hope both do well. Brian Kelly's going to win a lot of football games in Baton Rouge, I promise you. And and it doesn't do anything but get harder and harder and harder.
No, that's absolutely right.
Still Alabama, Texas and Oklahoma coming in the conference. Jesus, man. Auburn probably going to shake things up here. This is one tough neighborhood we hanging around in here, but we would have it no other way.
There is no doubt about that. And we'll talk much more college football as we get into bowl season starting next week. But the focus this week on Army-Navy and then on the Heisman. And then in the NFL, the Saints, for the first time under Sean Payton, have lost 5 games in a row. The good news is they get Alvin Kamara back this week. Maybe better news is they play the Jets this week. Is there any hope in your mind for the Saints to turn this around in the final 5 weeks?
I just have great faith in the Saints organization, and I think that it's warranted. I mean, we've probably won more football games in the last 10 years than anybody not named New England Patriots. Or if not, we're very close. And this has been a brutal season, but I wouldn't give up on Sean Payton, not ever. It's difficult. I guess you'd say the odds are we don't, but let's see. And you're right. We play the Jets. We ought to be able to get something on it. The other thing that's so damn frustrating is the Pelicans.
Whoa.
We're not that bad. Every time you give up on them, you go, I don't know. they had a tough loss last night in overtime. I think, I almost went to the game. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, we're actually going in a couple of weeks, but you're right. I mean, I think it's a team that was built to play around Zion. Zion's not there. They're playing hard, but they just don't seem to get over the hump.
And they win some improbable games. You know, the loss to Houston. I don't know, but I think I think this guy might be a pretty good coach. I'm willing to hang in there with him for a little bit.
All right, we'll see what happens if Zion can get back. Maybe they get on a roll. We know you don't pick the Saints game. Saints are 5-point favorites against the Jets. Let's get into some of our other games here. We're going to start
about that for a second.
Yeah,
You're
sure.
playing at home against a team that lost 5 in a row, and you're a 5.5-point dog.
We think the Saints are a mess. That is the definition of a mess.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, AFC first. Ravens at Browns. It's Cleveland laying 2.5 here at home.
Cleavage.
Take the Cleveland Browns to bounce back. Ravens have been struggling on offense. Lamar Jackson, not himself.
Yep. Is that probably on the Heisman Trophy? That guy from Alabama's going to win it. That's not even a close call, is it?
I believe the odds are minus 4,000 for Bryce Young right now to win it. So that's all but done and dusted. That would be a shock if not. Although if he doesn't win it, it'll be the defensive player from Michigan who will be the first purely defensive player ever to win it. So that would be fun. All right, moving on. The Dallas Cowboys are road favorite here, 4-point favorites against the Washington football team.
The football team.
Take the football team, the capital F, capital T football team.
I never liked them. I lived in Washington. I couldn't stand them when I was there. And I've season tickets to the Nationals. I had season tickets to the Wizards. I just never have liked the Washington football team. But having said that, they're better than I thought they were.
They're kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, they're not bad.
All right, moving on. Big playoff battle in both conferences here. 49ers at Bengals. The line we're using here is Bengals -1. This one's actually jumped the fence to 49ers -1, but right now the line we're using is Bengals -1.
I'll take the 49ers.
I'll take the 49ers with a point. And then probably the game of the week in the NFL this week at 3:25 on Sunday. The Bills and the Bucks. Possible Super Bowl preview here. Bucks laying 3 points.
Bucks.
Taking the Bucks, the favorite there. And then switching things up for Sunday Night Football and going to a big spread. We know Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. He said it the last time they played. This time they get them at home at Lambeau in prime time. But they're laying a big number here. Can the Packers cover 12.5?
The Bears are terrible. All right. They're just not very good. You just keep waiting for them to get better, and they don't get much better. I'm late to points. Take the Pack.
All right, we'll take another favorite. And then finally on Monday Night Football, second straight real good Monday night game, this time in the NFC West. The LA Rams in Arizona to face the Cardinals. Cardinals by 2.5.
Rams.
We'll take the Rams on the road there. What's your take on bowl season? Too many bowls? Not enough bowls? What do we...
There's this hilarious piece in The Athletic. The guy was talking about all the different bowls, and he said, "You think I'm making this up? This is about college bowls. I'm not making anything up." Nah, people board watch it. They get good TV ratings and bring some money to different places. Let them play. I don't have much against it.
And it's more games for us to pick, so that'll be next week. We'll start
more opportunities to lose money, but I'm not necessarily think that's a terrible idea. What are 28 of them or something like that? It's gonna be like the NCAA.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's no, it may be even more than that at this point.
But as long as people keep watching it, and as long as it's the ESPN Bowl, or the Fox Sports Bowl, if somebody figures we'll pick one up and we'll go home. But as long as the top of the thing is the top four is what interests me, and I think that's Coach Brian Kelly too.
I think you're right, and that's on New Year's Eve, and we'll get your thoughts on that. Cincinnati getting in, kind of a breakthrough for the group of five, but we'll have plenty of time to talk about that before New Year's Eve.
Yeah, and those are some big lines they got.
It is 13.5 and 7.5 for the two semifinal games.
Yeah, I don't mean it. They giving Michigan all those points?
I don't know. I guess we'll have a couple of weeks to think about that one.
We can noodle on that. All right.
All right, James, we appreciate it. This is Cashing In with Carville, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.